Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to make some Indian chai. At least this is how we make it here. I've been married to my husband for 8 years, and that's how we like it. In India, when we go to India, they don't like it quite as sweet, but that's how we like it. So here are the ingredients. I use pure cane sugar, the Zalka brand. I really like it. It's non-GMO, which I think is important. We prefer society tea. We've only been able to find it in India, and very few places here in America sell it. So that one's a little hard to find. Alternatively, you can use Wagh Bakri, which is very similar, and it tastes pretty good also. We like to use some ginger and some cardamom seeds. And this is the pot we use. This is about 1.5 quart size pan, I guess, that you would use. So those are the ingredients, and I will tell you how to make it. So I'll be right back. Okay, so my 4-year-old is going to be helping us. So here's 1 tablespoon. Go ahead. And we kind of like our tea, I guess, a little bit stronger. So we use about 2 tablespoons. You don't have to use quite that much. If you want to have less caffeine, what you would do is you would just boil the water. And I apologize, there's 3 cups of water in here right now. So you would boil the water. And then once the water is boiling, you would dump the tea in there. And
put some sugar.
And then count to 10 seconds while it's boiling again with the tea inside it. And then you would strain the tea granules out, or the tea leaves. And then you would fill this back up with water and put your tea leaves back inside. And then you would just make it as we're making it right now. So what I'm doing right now is I got this on high. We'll look at the time and see how long it usually takes us. And I usually let it simmer for a very long time. So here we have the tea in here with 3 cups of water. So we had about 2 tablespoons with 3 cups of water, and this is 1.5 quart saucepan, or I don't even know what these things are called, but that's what we've got so far. Okay, so we cut our ginger, and I don't know, it's about, I guess, like 1 inch. It's not very wide or big, you know. Thank you, sweetheart. I don't usually put that much in here. So what I'm going to do is I will cut this up and stick it in here. I won't put it in there this big, because we want to get all the juice out of the ginger as much as we can. So I'm going to cut it up into tinier pieces and put it in there. So there we put the ginger inside, and I still have it turned up on high. Basically what I'm trying to do is just get all of the flavors to mix together. And we're going to put some sugar in this, and then we're just going to let it boil for a little while. Okay, so here we have the sugar. It's between, I don't know if this will, but you can kind of see it's between about 1/3 and 1/2 cup. So it all depends, I guess, on your sweetness. This is what we usually do, and this makes about, if you're serving small cups, it'd make probably about 6. If you're serving it to my husband, who likes to have a big old mug like this, when he has his tea, it'll only make about 3. So probably 4 mugs full, something like this. You know, a mug like that. So probably about 4 of them. So you can kind of hear it. It's starting to boil. I'm going to go ahead and put in the cardamom. So here's the cardamom. Sometimes what I will do is I will break it apart with my fingers so that the seeds will come out. Or I just take this out right here and break it like that and toss them in. So there we go. Now I'm just going to let it boil so that the flavors get mixed really nice. And then I'll add the milk. So Okay, so this is the milk that we use. It's lactated whole milk. And I guess depending on the amount of water that you put in here would depend on what type of milk you put in. So you could actually use less, let's see, with this, you could actually use less percentage of milk for this. That would be fine. Normally I would probably let this boil down like to a little bit less of a level in here, but it'll still taste fine if we just pour the milk in. What I normally do is I'll pour the milk to like a certain level, like right there where those little knobs are. But I'm going to try and measure it to see where we're at. Okay, so here we have 2 cups of milk. We're gonna see how much that fills that up. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think I might add a little bit more, but you could leave it like this if you wanted to make it easier. Okay, so I added a little bit more milk. See, and that's where I would normally do that when I make tea. Now this is very important when you get to this part. When you add the milk, make sure that you turn this down, because if you do not, it will go everywhere and you'll be very sad because you won't get to drink any tea and you'll have to clean up. So on our stove, 3 seems to be a perfect number. Most other stoves that we've been on, when we've made this at other people's houses, 3 seems to be the best number, where it will simmer, but it won't boil over and it won't burn. So I don't normally mix it with a spoon. After this point, I'll just leave it. Here we are so far. It takes a while to make this because I take a long time. But so now we'll probably let this sit for another 15 minutes. But if you wanted to do it really fast, you would have to hover over here, and you could turn it up to high and just like hover and watch and watch and watch and watch and watch and watch. But I go and I do everything else while I'm making tea. So I put it on 3 so that it doesn't boil over. And I find that the more it simmers, like the nice sweeter and thicker kind of texture the tea gets. So that's where we're at right now. We'll come back when it is done, and we'll see how long that takes. So here you can see that it's starting to simmer. You can kind of see that. It's got this layer for the milk. And I apologize, I had said that incorrectly about the milk. So if you have whole milk, you can use more water. If you have 2%, 1%, or fat-free milk, you're going to want to use more milk and less water, so that it still has the creamy tea. Otherwise it just tastes too watery. But maybe you like it that way. We don't like it that way, so that's how we make ours. But yeah, I haven't stirred this. I've just let this sit. Here we are looking at 4:16. I've changed a diaper, put a child in timeout, so that's why I always just leave it here on 3, because who knows what I'm going to have to do while the tea is making. I don't have the time to sit over it right now. Okay, so it's about this time. It's a lot longer than it probably could be, but it still tastes really good. What you're going to need is a very fine metal mesh, because it's going to stand up to higher heats. And what I do is I just set it right here inside my mug, let it sit there, and I will take my tea and I pour it in. So and what you're going to want to do is, if you wanted it without caffeine, you would have strained this when it was just the water with the teas, and that's what you would have left, you know, is just the tea. But yeah, so there we are. Here's our mug of tea. Enjoy!